Welcome to Bob's Brewhouse. I'm Bob, and we're not in the brewhouse, we're in my kitchen, and I'm going to show you a really simple way to make mead. It should end up at about 7% ABV and have a medium, almost medium sweet taste. You don't need any special equipment or any knowledge of brewing. Once you get the hang of it, you might want to get things like a hydrometer or bigger fermentation vessel, but it's not really necessary as long as you stick to the basic formula. What you will need is 2 pounds, that's 908 grams of honey, per gallon, that's 5 litres of water, and some extra honey held back to sweeten it at the end. We'll just put that one away somewhere for now. Any honey will do. Tap water should be fine, but you should probably leave it out for a few hours to get rid of the chlorine. Also, a tablespoon of mixed dried fruit. You can pretty much use any fruit here, but anything more than a tablespoon per gallon, and we're making a melomel. That's a mead made with a lot of fruit or fruit juice. I'll probably make a video doing one of those in the near future, as they're just as easy and you get great results. Lastly, the star of the show, bread yeast. Just a teaspoon per gallon. There's countless strains of yeast, but in my experience, the cleanest flavour in this kind of mead comes from the stuff you get in the supermarket for next to nothing. You'll need to sterilise your fermentation vessel before putting anything in there. Just a couple of these supermarket sterilising tablets for babies' bottles in a gallon will do the trick. For this batch, I'm making 2 gallons. You can get these fermentation buckets on Amazon for about £15, and they come with the all-important airlock. Make sure you get the one with a tap at the bottom, as it's much easier for the final steps in bottling. It's best to get 2 of these so you can transfer from one to the other. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. That's for part 2. First things first, get a nice big pan and boil about a pint of water in the kettle. Meanwhile, pour all of your honey. For this 2-gallon batch, I'm using 4 1-pound jars of basic honey from my local supermarket into the pan. Don't worry about getting every last little bit, just get as much as you can in there and set the jars aside. When the kettle's boiled, carefully pour a little bit into each jar and then the rest into the pan full of honey. Give this a few minutes to settle down. In the meantime, throw the dried fruit into the bucket of water. Doesn't have to be exact, just roughly a tablespoon per gallon. Small handful will do. You want to stir the honey and the water until it's well mixed together. Might take a few minutes because it can be quite difficult to mix initially. When you're done with that, you want to stir what's left of the honey in the jars, get that mixed up. Can take a while. Right, now you're going to want to pour the contents of the pan into the bucket. Now you want to pour the contents of the jars into the pan when you're done here and give it another stir. Just make sure you're getting as much of the honey as possible into the mixture. There's no need to worry about sterilizing the pan or the spoon, since you just put freshly boiled water in, so it should kill any bacteria that might be in there. Once that's good and mixed, you want to pour that into the remainder, into the bucket. Then put the lid on tight, make sure it's sealed. And give it a good swirl. Just make sure everything's getting mixed together. At this point, you're going to want to open the top and sprinkle in a teaspoon of the yeast per gallon of your mixture. Doesn't have to be exact. I'm using a heaped teaspoon there because it's 2 gallons, but it should do well enough. Now you want to seal that lid tight again and give it a good swirl around to mix it all together. Once you're done, put it somewhere out of direct sunlight. It doesn't have to be very warm, room temperature will do fine. Over the next few days, the airlock is going to seriously bubble. It should calm right down after about 72 hours. Of course, you need to remember to put some water in the airlock, like I completely forgot, and added some from the kettle. It should be done, like I said, after 72 hours, but leave it a bare minimum of 4 weeks. Now, the 4-week mark will be stabilizing it with a teaspoon of potassium sorbate and a Camden tablet. I'll put the link to those below in the description. They're both cheap on Amazon. A small packet of each of them will last hundreds of brews usually. And after that, we'll transfer it to another vessel for a couple of weeks before bottling or barreling. If you followed this tutorial so far, in just a few weeks, you'll have your own batch of delicious mead. It's a very forgiving recipe. Once you get the hang of it, you might want to tweak it to your own taste, but it should be a good start. I'll put links to everything you'll need from start to finish in the description below, along with the recipe. I'll make the second part in 4 weeks, and we'll go through the final stages of the process. They're probably even easier than this. See you then. Cheers.